Hey Slay Squad! How you doing? How you slaying? So today's video is about why I think I get much more done now that I'm a part-time stay-at-home mom versus being a full-time stay-at-home mom. I know it makes absolutely no sense at first, but hear me out. So for those of you that don't know my story, before I had my second son, my second rainbow baby Cairo, when I got pregnant with him, I was teaching full-time middle school English. And the job was extremely stressful, and I felt like it was putting my pregnancy in jeopardy. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. And I did not enjoy it, working while pregnant towards the end of my pregnancy. So myself and my husband made a decision ever since I got pregnant with Cairo that I would stay home with the baby, because before I became a teacher, before I became an entrepreneur, I always wanted to be a mom. And when dating my husband, I told him the importance of being a mom to me, and that I would love to stay at home with my kids for some years to help build that important foundation when they're growing up. So, all right. So, what happened, I had a plan that I was not going to return the following school year. And it happened that Cairo was due at the beginning of a new school year. And it just so happened that I planned to quit, but God had other plans. I ended up getting laid off at the end of the school year, and then the following year the school closed. So God knows what he's doing. I took it as a blessing in disguise. It gave me the opportunity to be home with my children, stress-free, without having to go through not wanting to renew a contract, and just the animosity type of stuff that I didn't want to deal with. So I was home for a whole year, and now I am back to working part-time, teaching adult ed, and teaching online a little bit. So I tease and joke and say that I'm a part-time stay-at-home mom, because I technically am. I only work 10 hours teaching out of the adult ed out of the week. So let me get to the point. I am much, much more productive now that I have a work schedule to work my business schedule around. In the past, where I went wrong as a full-time stay-at-home mom, I wouldn't be as organized as I would, because in my head I felt, you're home, so you could post on the fly, and it didn't work like that. So what happened was that I was very inconsistent, and I'm much more consistent now as an entrepreneur. So every single thing has to be planned, because if it's not planned, I know it's not going to get done. Because the reality was, when it wasn't planned, when I was a full-time stay-at-home mom, it wasn't getting done. So I had to stop lying to myself, saying you're going to be able to do this on the fly now that you're busier. And another thing, people have this false myth that staying at home is easier than going to a 9-to-5. But based on my opinion and my personal experience, it's actually easier to go to a 9-to-5. Being home with your kids all day is hard. So shout out to preschool teachers and daycare teachers, all right? So it's hard. Plus, juggling kids and a 9-to-5 is hard too, and then add entrepreneurship on top of that. Girl, you crazy, right? So, or that's how we feel, at least. So I planned everything. So my social media, when it's scheduled, I'm consistent. So I've been very consistent. My newsletter, if I don't plan it, if I don't put it on automate, it does not happen. My pitches, if I don't consistently pitch and follow my pitch schedule, all these things I'm talking about is in the Everyday Slay journal that I use. I am not on point. Writing things down, getting it done, having a checklist to hold me accountable to make sure I'm getting these things done, have all helped me to be more productive. Having an accountability partner, or accountability partners, I should say, to just check in to make sure I'm staying on track and I'm not making excuses. So there's someone who said it. So a lot of people feel that people that are successful are smarter than them, have a higher skill set than them, are more educated than them, are prettier than them. Like, we find all excuses as to why someone is more successful than we are. And the reality is that we need to stop comparing and contrasting. The reality is that people that are more successful than us, based on my experience and research, they are more consistent. That's what the key is. So if you're not going to jump on it and learn how to be consistent and persistent and push through adversity, then the entrepreneurship game is not for you. You have to be consistent. You have to push through when it feels hard as ever, because we have been trained to live in a society to work for other people, to build other people's businesses up. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that if that's what makes you happy, if that's what makes you feel fulfilled, right? But we don't always have it in us or we have to train our mind to have it in us to build and work on our own legacy. So we have to be consistent. And I'm saying this out of love and through my heart. I struggled with this too, and I've blogged about it numerous times, and I will keep talking about it. I struggle with losing myself to my business, losing myself to working a 9-to-5. I struggled with the whole year while home as a stay-at-home mom. I struggled with discipline and being mad at myself that I was disciplined enough to get up at 5 whatever in the morning, go to my classroom at 6 whatever in the morning, make copies, write out my objectives, SLOs, try to have everything as organized and ready as possible, stay up late grading papers, preparing for teacher conferences, collecting all this information that I needed to collect, being prepared for PPTs, and the list goes on and on. I was on point for stuff like that. But when it came to my business, I wasn't showing up. And I struggled with that for a whole year. Like, why is it that you are home now for a whole year and you can't get your ass, excuse my language, no, don't excuse my language, because that's me when I'm talking real, but you can't get your little self up out the bed to go and work on your dream, but you could get up and work on somebody else's dream because you know it's a guaranteed paycheck. But you don't want to get up and work on your legacy. So I know this conversation went left, so let me bring it back. My purpose of doing this video was to let you guys know that I am much more consistent now that I am a part-time stay-at-home mom. And maybe this is what God had to show me to get my stuff together, but I like that I'm more consistent now. I like that I'm real with myself, and I know that I can't do things on the fly. I'm going to forget to post that post in between dropping Kendall off to preschool, dropping Cairo off to my mom, and trying to run to make copies in time for my adult ed class, or getting breakfast and packing lunches and things like that. I don't have time. So it's like we have to really truly give ourselves grace and stop making things harder for ourselves, mamas, and do things that will help us instead of overwhelm us. So when you don't plan for your business and to get things done, it's going to lead to you being overwhelmed and trying to rush to get it done while the kids are yelling in your ear, trying to get it done while you're distracted, trying to get it done while you're stressed. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. So utilizing my time wisely has really, really helped me to be more consistent. And if you want to know my productivity hacks, click the link below. I attached that link to that video as well. And if you want to follow my system, then I suggest you get the Everyday Slay Journal, which is now available for digital for instant download, and it's printer friendly. It's black and white, except for the cover, but where you can access everything that I do. Get it at bit.ly/the Everyday Slay Journal. And there's a section for pitching, there's a section for webinars, masterclasses, there's a section for all those dope ideas you come up with. Check it out. I put the link below. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in with me. I appreciate you. And don't forget to have a wonderful day and slay your way.